it's time to raise the roof. And we actually got to raise the roof yesterday. This is episode 2 of Raise the Roof, our Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Evan and Gibby are back. It was a lot of exciting things to talk about last night's game. Obviously, it's an off day, so we get a little bit of time to talk about everything. We would have done yesterday, but it got a little bit too late. But for those that didn't watch, the Rays ended up taking 2 out of 3 against the Yankees. They won last night 5-2. Things got a little bit dicey in the 9th inning, thank God. Fairbanks, big Heat Pete was there to hold down the fort in the 9th. But I kind of wanted to get your guys' reaction after what happened on well, first off, your reaction to the suspensions of Cash, Rays manager Kevin Cash, Yankees manager Aaron Boone, and Yankees reliever Aroldis Chapman after what happened on Tuesday night's game, and then your reactions to what happened last night. Anyone of you guys can start?
I'll go first. So I think all of the suspensions were necessary. Even Cash, like he did say some stuff, but like I'm just glad. Like I think that really lit a fire under our guys, and you could clearly see it in the first inning of play how fired up they were for this game. Especially, I think after the manager got suspended for saying what he said. Like his bullpen full of 98s. I think that really helped fire our guys up. And I also support. I'm not really sure what Boone did, but like he was probably the one who told Tanaka to intentionally throw at Wendell. So the blame kind of falls on him there. And Chapman, he was throwing inside a lot, one at the head, deadly one to Mike Brosseau, which. The Yankees ended up regretting that one after today. So that's so I support all the suspensions. It's just one game for both the managers, 3 games for Chapman. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think both managers should get suspended. Mm-hmm. Definitely Cash. I don't really know what Boone did either, but I think it just comes down to like the leadership. He's the head of the team, and he should have maybe done a better job to like calm the storm a little bit before it escalated to the point it did. I don't know. Personally, me, in a 60-game season, 3 games might be a lot for Chapman. Like he didn't hit anybody, and he's always known to be wild. And I still don't think that was on purpose, but I would say 2 games maybe for Chapman. I know that's only a game difference, but I guess in a 60-game season it is kind of a big difference.
Yeah.
So I would give Chapman the benefit of the doubt there. But yeah, I agree. I think the Cash definitely should have. I mean, I still support what he said. Of the players, but I mean, he definitely should have got a suspension, and I guess Boone should too, but still not sure really what he did.
Yeah, I want to say, so I saw something, Jared Carabas put something on Twitter where he was like, Joe Kelly got 8 games for throwing not even close to Carlos Correa, and Chapman got 3 games for literally almost nailing Mike Brosseau in the head with 101. Yeah. So like, where does the 5 like why did MLB decide 8 games for Kelly? With all of the Astros stuff, like, are they really backing up the Astros that much, even though they blatantly cheated? Why are they giving him 5 more games compared to what Chapman did, which is literally almost endanger the life of a team, like of a player?
Because the MLB's trying to get out in front of it. That's why.
Yeah.
Because if they're trying to make a big statement on, I mean, everybody hates the Astros. Every player, every manager, every fan, other than Astros fans, hate the Astros. And I think they just wanted to get out in front of it, make a big statement. 8 games was way too much. I think that even
8 games was way too much.
I think Astros fans would even say that 8 games was way too much. But they were just saying, like, I know you guys like all despise what they did, but like if you do anything like that, you're gonna get an 8-game suspension or something close to that.
That is true.
So they were just trying to make an example out of him, I believe.
I just want here. Wait, sorry. I just wanted to say, like, if Major League Baseball was like, by suspending someone, that means that they are determining that what Chapman did was intentional. Mm-hmm. So if both of them were intentional, then how is, despite the Astros thing, like if the Astros thing was worth 5 games, then it was worth 5 games and added 5 games. But comparatively speaking, the Chapman situation in terms of not hitting someone was a much more dangerous situation than that of the Joe Kelly situation with Correa.
Joe Kelly also had like some other stuff going on. He was also taunting. He was also throwing back at. He was also when
And he actually had control issues in that game.
Yeah, he did. And also Bregman, when he was sliding back to first, Joe Kelly just kept throwing it at basically at the ground, so it would hit him while he was sliding back.
Both of them were bad, but they both got suspended. One just got suspended more than the other.
Yeah.
I think that we might have wanted to see Chapman get suspended for more and maybe for less. But I still think that, the situation was bad enough to where it was necessary for the situation. But going on to what happened, obviously, during last night's game, Mike Brosseau, obviously the person who Chapman almost nailed in the head, got his revenge against the Yankees. For those that didn't see, the Rays Twitter account went absolutely off with one of the, I think, in my opinion, one of the best tweets of the season, which I think it was like over everyone's head. And it was the video of the home run and then him pimping it out like Sammy Sosa, which is just one of the biggest, like one of the greatest things ever. And then I guess the funniest thing was I muted myself. I think the funniest thing about the entire thing was I don't think Major League Baseball tweeted about the entire Rays-Yankees game.
Yeah.
Yet Barstool put out the Mike Brosseau things and was like, "Oh, Mike Brosseau Revenge Tour 2020," and I was like, "This is just amazing."
I mean, he couldn't have done that any better, honestly.
It was very satisfying.
So satisfying.
Definitely one of the more satisfying wins I think I've seen in a while. I still don't know how he went up to the plate that easily. If I was him, I'd still be like a little shaken up after that. Like your life kind of flashed like before your eyes, and I don't know. I mean, that takes big time guts to do that. I mean, the offense was just amazing in the first inning. They started off the game with 5 straight hits, I think, got through all 9 hitters, and bullpen played really, really well. But yeah, just a really good team win, I guess.
Yeah, you could definitely tell the energy yesterday was different. You could hear it in the live feed of the game. Like even the commentators were commenting about it, how loud the Rays dugout was the whole time. A lot of energy. I think Mike fed off of that, and he was able to rise to the occasion. I liked his post game press conference too. He was very humble. Everyone was asking him about like revenge. How'd it feel? And he was like, it wasn't really like that. It was like more emotional for him, I guess. That's what he was saying,
Yeah, that's
but
what
I bet you for real, it probably felt good to get that back on them.
Yeah, that's what the manager, that's what Q said after the game. He was like, that was a really emotional moment for the team when he did that. I mean, I would be scared, like Evan said, I'd be scared as hell if I were to go in that box after and literally having your life flash before your eyes and narrowly ducking out of the way. I feel like, so I thought about this game in 2 different ways. The first inning was really great, and then obviously Brosseau hitting the second home run to go up 5-0 was really great. And then they really didn't score any, they didn't have any offense for the rest of the game, and it would have been nice for them to just blow them out. But I think it's kind of funny because I think the other story of the game was Charlie Morton came back on the mound, pitched 2 innings, struck out 4 guys, did walk 2, but struck out 4 guys. So he had a really good first outing back. And I think it was funny because like, it wasn't that the Rays blew them out. It was that the Rays jumped out to a big lead, made the statement early, and then just suffocated the Yankees offense for the rest of the game, just like constricted them like a snake. And it was just, except, I mean, obviously Clint Frazier had the home run, which I know a lot of people were saying was a fluke home run. It would have only went out at Yankee Stadium, but a home run's a home run. I mean, the Rays do have the short porch.
Fenway too, definitely.
I mean, yeah. So there's other places where, there's short porches. The Trop has a short porch. So, I mean, the Yankee Stadium is not the only one. But it's like – but then, like, the 9th inning just stressed me out. I thought that Loop was going to have a bad outing. He was fine. I'm trying to think of the guy who they had – who was the guy that was in before Fairbanks came in the 9th and third 2 innings? Yeah, he pitched really well.
He apparently hold on. Do you see Neil Solon's tweet?
Yeah, he didn't lit up I think it was like for like 9 consecutive innings
without allowing a hit or a walk, and the only base runner to reach during that stretch was he reached on an error. Which is impressive. And then he gave up a single to Sanchez, but
yeah, and then that freaked me out because then Fairbanks came in and then things got really dicey in the 9th inning, and I was like, oh crap, Voigt's coming up. And
the Yankees always make it interesting. They always make it interesting.
Yeah, but I'm glad that they were able to pull it out in the end. It was, I mean, first off, Randy Arozarena, first home run as a Ray, big news.
Yeah.
Considering that
Yeah.
he's the only guy that's left in that trade for so I'm still angry about, because I really liked Matt Liberatore, and I'm really happy that they got Nick Bisco in the draft, because he's now going to be 18 and he's already throwing 98, but he's a righty. But still, like, I'm glad that they got a pitcher to kind of replace Liberatore. But if Arozarena is going to start hitting, that's really good for them. Margot started off the game with a double. I believe Margot started off the game with a double, right? Yeah. So he was hitting, obviously, Brosseau with the 2 home runs. He came close to hitting a third one. I think he came close to hitting a third one at least once or twice.
I thought that at bat in like the 7th inning, 7th or 8th maybe.
I think it was the 8th. 8th.
I thought that was maybe had a chance off the bat, but he got a little under it, I believe.
Yeah, and then so I was watching the game, but I wasn't. But I was following the game thread on the Rays subreddit, which if you don't know is /r/Tampa Bay Rays. Just look them up on Reddit. It's in my opinion, it's the best MLB team subreddit. It's so funny because it's like serious, but then also it's just like memes and just a lot of garbage, quote unquote, but it's like a lot of fun stuff. And that game thread was one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen, because people were like, "Oh, we're checking in on the Yankees thread to see what would happen." They're like, "Oh, the Yankees fans are saying that like we're cheating in some way." And it was just I showed Evan before this. I think that we broke them so much with this win that in the post-game thread, someone was trying to talk about getting their water heater fixed. And I just think that, like, it got to the point where, like, they were just so broken by this. Like, they don't know how to react because the Rays now account for over 50% of their losses.
Yeah, I saw all the comments from the Yankees, all the Yankees Reddits and all their kind of chats and stuff, and like it was like the 5 stages of grief, and then they're like just going through all of them. It's like, oh, we suck. It's like denial and all that stuff. It was really funny. Yeah, that Reddit page is great. You know, I like all the Flappy Boys stuff.
Yeah, Flappy Boys.
It's fun. It's funny.
It's so good. But yeah, that was it. I mean, that was a great win. That was a great way for Brosseau to kind of come out. I mean, I know this is I guess this is technically his rookie season, even though he did play some games last year. He's got 5 home runs so far. He's batting pretty well. He's contributing where he needs to contribute. Hopefully he'll kind of fit into a role as a utility guy moving forward, and I think he can do that. But I'm just happy. I mean, we got the series win. It's the most important thing. Finished 8-2 against the Yankees this year. Finished 5-1 at Yankee Stadium, which is the best record that they've had at Yankee Stadium at any point in their in franchise history. They're playing really well right now. They're 4.5 games up on them in the division. Second best record in baseball. I'm not trying to hype the team up, but I mean they're really in form right now, and it's really going well.
Definitely.
And once we get our pitchers back too, I think Anderson's close to returning, and Drake's got to be returning soon. So once we get our bullpen back, we went 18-21 in August with 11 pitchers on the IL for most of the month, and just imagine when we get most of those pitchers back. I don't know. I think it's a scary sign for other teams, I think.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about like 21-3 or 21-4 because you said 18-21. I was like, I don't think that we finished.
Oh, sorry. No, won 18 games out of 21.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
I was like, oh, crap. We went 18-21.
Well, I'm going to need to play 39 games in a month, but.
That would be, honestly, with what's happening now, that could honestly happen because there's so many doubleheaders. So Evan was just talking about, I think this is a great way to kind of segue into talking about some things with the IL. So obviously we got back a big piece in Morton for the starting rotation. Really happy about that. Obviously he was on a pitching, he was on a leash. He had a pitch count for the game. He was going to throw 3 innings, maybe 4 innings max if he was really in the zone. Ended up throwing 2. How did you guys think about his outing?
I liked it a lot. He looked really good. I mean, his pitch count was hurt by that pass ball strikeout because then he gave up because that added probably 7 or 8 more pitches to his count, and he still got to the 3rd inning. Like he pitched into the 3rd inning, but then he gave up a walk, and Cash was like came and pulled him. Then Curtis, he looks really, really good too. Not to go off track, but he played really, really well last night too. But Morton, his off speed looked really good, much better than it did earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think he struck out the side in the second. You got Gardner, Sanchez, and whoever was batting ninth last night. Well, whatever. But he struck out the side in the second. I don't know. It looked really encouraging from his performance last night.
Yeah, he went through that. He almost went through the full lineup. I don't think he got through the full lineup, but he pitched those 2 innings. Pretty good stuff. No hits. Can't complain about that. He's gonna start They're gonna start ramping him up. Maybe next time he starts, he's gonna have 3 innings or 4, and then try to get him in his season form. All these pitchers were caught off guard from kind of being a shorter, like this summer camp kind of thing, and that's why there's so many injuries. I saw a thing where it's like at this point in the season, it's like there's double the amount of injuries that there usually is for pitchers in a normal MLB season. So it's encouraging to get some of these guys back, and hopefully we get more help. Even though we don't really need it, we got a pretty good bullpen still, but would like to see some of those guys back.
Yeah, I was really encouraged by it. I know obviously he was on the IL for a little bit. I was really encouraged by it. I'm glad that he was able to come out. I'm glad that he showed a lot of good stuff. Not only was his outing kind of hindered by the pass ball strikeout, but also I think we forgot to mention this. There was a drone delay at some point in the game.
Oh yes.
And then the guy who did the drone, who like flew the drone in, took a video of it and then posted that video on Twitter, and it was immediately found, which is just the stupidest thing ever that you would like immediately reveal yourself on Twitter. It doesn't make any sense, but
did it for the clout.
It was probably a pretty cool video.
Oh, it was probably, yeah, I think I saw a little bit of it, but I was just like, you're such a moron.
Yeah.
Like, whoever this guy is just such an idiot. But Morton had a really good outing. I was really encouraged by it. I hope that really helps because our starting rotation right now is a little bit iffy. We still need to work some guys out. Not having Chirinos for the rest of the year really hurts.
Definitely.
I'm really hoping that Yarbrough comes back soon because we really need him. He really eats up a lot of innings, and he's a very reliable, and he's been a very consistent pitcher over the last few years. You're right. Sorry, go.
He's very efficient. He's
very efficient.
He gets through a lot of innings with a very reduced pitch count, unlike most pitchers for the Rays.
That is true. He's extremely efficient, and that's really helpful.
Because he doesn't throw strikes, or he doesn't throw strikeouts. That's why. He's more of a contact hitter, but soft contact hitter. And when you're a strikeout pitcher, you have to throw 3 pitches that bad to strike him out. So it's just induce what's the word? It just raises your pitch count, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really it hurts your pitch count and it increases it tremendously with that kind of stuff. Yeah. But in terms of the bullpen, I hope that we can get some arms back soon. I know that we're getting a lot of good contributions from a lot of guys that I don't think that we really expected to be in those kind of roles this season. I'm really hoping we can get Drake back. I'm really hoping we can get, I think it's Alvarado's on the DL right now, or Alvarado's on the IL right now. Oh, right. Or is it Castillo?
Castillo played last night.
Okay, then it's Alvarado's the one that's on the IL right now. There's a couple other guys that obviously Anderson, who's kind of been the guy in the back of the bullpen this year. He's been replacing. He was kind of in Pagan's spot last year at times, but he also was replacing Pagan to an extent. But I think that that's really encouraging that we're getting a lot of good contributions from a lot of players that we didn't really expect. And, that's just kind of the Rays. That's the easiest way to describe them is you'll get contributions from the weirdest guys, but that's just how it is because it's the Rays.
We find the diamonds in the roughs.
That is true.
Yeah, didn't we get ranked? We got ranked the number 1 farm system.
Mm-hmm. Number 1 farm system.
Yeah, so that's good.
Best farm system in baseball, always, until we don't.
Until we trade them away.
Until we keep them for like 3 years until their rookie deal's up, and then we trade them.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys down there that I don't want to give up, but I'm sure that they'll probably find ways to just get rid of people as they do, because it's just the Rays thing. Yeah. I guess our final thing for this podcast is just obviously it's an off day. We got a weekend series coming up this weekend at the Trop against the Miami Marlins, who we swept earlier in the year. Thoughts about this series? Obviously, sweeping the Marlins in Miami was a good thing, but the Marlins have given the Rays fits before in the past, in past years. How are we thinking about how this series is going to go with who the probables are going to end up being this weekend?
So I have them up on ESPN right now. Friday, it's Pablo Lopez versus Josh Fleming. And then Saturday, it's Sandy Alcantara versus Blake Snell. And then Sunday's matinee is Trevor Rogers versus Glasnow. So,
okay.
I mean, first and foremost, I'm glad that Sixto is not pitching.
And Yamamoto. Neither of those are in there.
Yeah, they both shut us down last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want Sixto on the Rays. I feel like he just looks like he'd be a Ray, I guess.
He's got electric stuff.
He does. Like, you couldn't have said it better, I guess. But, I mean, don't overlook this team. The Marlins are they're a good team. I think they're maybe a game over 500, maybe 500 exactly.
They're either 16-15 or 16-16.
They're 16-16, so they're exactly
okay.
500. But, I mean, they've had a chip on their shoulder the whole year. Somewhat, I don't know, I'm not from Florida, but somewhat a rivalry game maybe just because of geographics. Just don't overlook them. Take them seriously. We should win the series, but yeah, it's good to be home again, I guess.
I think if we have an outing like we did last time against them when we scored like 12, it was like 12-7. You know, if we can continue to get good bats against the Marlins, and they don't got their like real aces in these next 3 games. So yeah, definitely don't overlook them. But I have good confidence going to the series, especially after this high energy win. We're just gonna keep. Hopefully, we just keep rolling, and Brosseau gets another 2 home runs maybe next game. Just keeps his revenge tour going.
Oh yeah,
that would be nice. That would be really nice. I guess for this week. Here, wait. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Just avoid the hangover, I guess. Like you said, it was an emotional win last night. It was electric. I could see us maybe coming out Friday kind of flat, maybe content with what we just did, like kind of satisfied, be like, oh, we just won the series against the Yankees, like kind of relaxed, I guess, but just kind of avoid the hangover and just take care of business, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw. So starting with this series, I think we have 9 games left or something like that against teams within the AL East, and those teams are finishing up with the Red Sox and finishing up with the Orioles. So the 2, the 4th and 5th place teams in the AL, obviously, the Orioles swept us earlier in the year. So you can't take the Orioles lightly because they have a good team and they have a good pitching staff. The Red Sox are just in shambles right now. So hopefully we can take 4 out of 6 there to finish it off, or however many games left we have against them. No, it might be 4. So just take 3 out of 4.
Because we beat the O's twice.
We have 5 left against the O's, and then I think 4 left against the Sox. So if we can take 3 out of 4, or at least split the series against the Sox, that's good.
Where are the O's games at?
They are, I think, split between because we had at least. I'm trying to think.
We had 2 games at the Trop, and then the third one got postponed.
Yeah, it said that there was a home game. It was a home game, road game, doubleheader thing. I don't know if that's going to be at the Trop because it said it was in navy blue, so that would make me think that it's the Trop. But it could also be that they're playing it at Camden Yards, but then calling us the home team.
Topkin did say that. Topkin tweeted it was a doubleheader. First game, O's are the home team. Then night game, the Rays are technically the home team. But
is it at Camden Yards then?
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Well, that kind of hurts us because Camden Yards is a bandbox.
We have been stinky at Camden Yards, to say the least, in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that freaks me out. The Red Sox don't freak me out as much, and then obviously the rest of the games are against. We have at least 1 or 2 series against the Nats. We have finishing up against the Mets and the Phillies, and obviously this series with the Marlins. So I guess if you want to call it, our hard part of the schedule is done, but there's still a lot left in terms of teams that could possibly trip us up. The Marlins are one of those teams, definitely one of those teams, because they've been pesky this entire year and they have nothing to lose. Like a lot of these teams that we're going to be playing for the rest of the year have nothing to lose. The Oilers have not the Oilers. The Oilers already lost, so clearly they have. They definitely don't have anything to lose. But The Orioles don't have anything to lose because they're just kind of playing to see if they can get into a playoff spot. Who knows if they will. The Red Sox aren't going to be making the playoffs this year, so they're just going to be playing spoiler. I don't know if the Nats are going to be making a run at that eighth seed in the playoffs. The Mets are going to be making a run in the playoffs for the playoffs, and obviously the Phillies right now are second in the NL East. And then the Marlins have nothing to lose either because both of those teams, both the Marlins and the Orioles at the beginning of this year, everyone was like, oh, they're going to finish with like single-digit wins or maybe like 15 wins. Like they're going to do nothing. And obviously both of them have had much better seasons than anyone has thought. So they're out here just to show that they can play. And they're going to keep playing their young guys, especially the Marlins, because they've called up so many new guys. I know that they optioned Jesus Sanchez back to their alternate site, but they've brought up Jazz, Chris Holm or that guy. His first name is Jazz. I know that. So they brought him up. They brought up Sixto, obviously. They brought up a bunch of young guys within their system because they're trying to see how they work. And if they're really good, and the same thing with the Orioles because they brought up Mountcastle. If they really work, then they're just going to ride with them for the rest of the year and just go with the young wave. And the young wave is going to come out of nowhere because we don't have any scouting reports on them.
That's the thing about the Marlins. They have so many – there's like no in-between players on that team, I feel like. No. They either have like – bunch of old veterans who happen to be a lot of Rays veterans, or they have dudes who just coming out of the minors. Like, I mean, and they just got, I don't know if he's playing this weekend, but Marte was a huge get for them. Definitely one of the more intriguing trades of the deadline. Very weird for the Marlins to do that, but I'm assuming he's going to be playing. It's been 3 days since they traded him, I think. So, but yeah, he's a good piece. I don't know. I'm obviously never against the Rays, but the Marlins are a little, I'm cheering for them a bit. They're kind of a feel good story. They had 18 players on the IL at one time because of COVID. They've had like 100 plus roster moves throughout the year. And like they've just had absurd numbers, and the fact they're still winning baseball games is, I don't know, it's just impressive.
Very, very.
That is 100% true. I want them to win 2 out of 3. I think that they can. I think that they can either win 2 out of 3 or they can sweep. I just think that there's going to be one game where they're going to fall flat and the Marlins are going to win.
I do too.
It's destined to happen soon.
It is because, you know, a team, unless you're like the Dodgers and you literally traded for a generational talent like Mookie Betts in the offseason and didn't give up that much for it. Because I'm sorry, Verdugo's not going to be anywhere close to who Mookie Betts is currently.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and to be fair though, the NL is so much worse than the AL though.
That is true.
The NL is.
But then, like, more than half of our games for the rest of the year are against NL teams, though.
But hey, that's good for us then.
Yeah, that is good for us. But
and we're done with the Braves too, so that's
that was really helpful. And we should have won the series against them, in my opinion. We shouldn't have.
We blew the game.
But hey, we split that. So at least we split that. It's every series against the team that we've completed this year. So obviously the Yankees, we won that 8-2. The Blue Jays, we won that 6-4. And the Braves, we tied 2-2. The Marlins, at least, we've gotten a 50-50 split on it.
Yeah.
And if we win tonight, or if we're not tonight, but, you know, possibly if we put this up tomorrow, if we win on Friday, so the 4th, September 4th.
Most likely going to beat the Sox. I mean, we're up 5-1 in that series.
Oh, so we've at least clinched 50% in that.
Yeah.
So that's at least a series. So that's at least a season split. So that's already 2 more season splits that we have. And then we just have to play the Marlins, Mets, Phillies, who we haven't played yet, and then finish up the Orioles, and we're 2-3 against them. So honestly, it could go anyway. But as long as we keep, like I've said this to so many people, and I'm sure that you guys probably feel the same way. Obviously, Evan still being at Maryland, Gibby going to, being associated with South Florida and seeing their baseball team in the AAC. This is like a college baseball season, but like at an MLB level. Like every series matters. It's not like if you get off to a bad start. I mean, even the Rays when they got swept by the Orioles, that series mattered.
Yeah,
I mean, every series matters.
In retro, like we've made up for it definitely. I mean, I think we were 6-8 after that series.
Yeah,
something like that. No, we were at 4-6. We were 2 games under 500 at one point. I remember that. And I mean, we've definitely made up for it. But yeah, it's like a college football season. Every game kind of matters, big, like a lot. And
I'm not sure what what Kevin Cash told them after that awful first away game series we had. But it definitely lit a fire under that team. And, you know, they didn't really lose a lot in August, so
Yeah.
it was very good for us. Very good.
And I don't know what he said about the road, because there was a time we were like 0-5 on the road, or
we weren't good on the road,
or 1-8 on the road, or something like that. And now we're 14-2 in our last 16 games on the road. And
yeah, it's crazy.
One of those is in Buffalo, then one of them was 2 nights ago. So that's beyond impressive, I feel like.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Something happened. They finally woke up. You know, after what happened at the beginning of the season, it's really made dividends. It's really paid dividends, and it's really made a big difference. And I mean, right now they're 26-12, right? We got 22 games left in the season. They're in a really good place now. I mean, if we want to look towards the future enough, which I don't really like doing, I'd rather just like look like series to series, but they're 4 games away from clinching at least a 500 record this year. And that's a really big thing. Like, if we can get to that point, that's, you know, we just grow from there. Like, yeah. I'm still scared as heck if we get the number 1 seed, because I don't want to play the Blue Jays. I don't want to play the Blue Jays. I don't like the Blue Jays. I don't like Buffalo. I just don't want to play the Blue Jays. It's exactly. We talked about that. Yeah, and we talked about this on our first pod. Like, the Blue Jays the Blue Jays are scary, and I don't like that.
Exactly.
But there is a reason why they've lost so many games, though. I mean, their pitching is iffy, and we did win the season series against them. So yeah, they're definitely not the most comfortable team to play round 1. But especially in a 3-game series. But I'm confident that we could beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. So I wanted to talk just before we ended. I wanted to talk about Lau for a second. So him and JT Realmuto got hot at basically the same time, and we're like kind of like going toe to toe in terms of home runs and average and RBI and all that. And they've both cooled off at like they basically. I mean, Lau I think he has 10 or 11 home runs and 30 RBI, and he's batting like 260 something now. Yeah. And Realmuto is batting like 268, and he's got 9 and 26. So it seems like they've both gone on the same slump, and that scares the heck out of me. Not for Realmuto, but like I don't want Lau to slump for the rest of the year. Like, he had his slump now. Like, if he can just get back to what he was doing, or at least get back to, you know, hitting around 300. Not saying he has to hit, you know, like 400 or whatever he's doing, but at least just try to hit 300 for the rest of the year and get back to being as productive as he was on offense. He doesn't need to hit. I mean, he's not going to hit 20 home runs, but if he can, you know, hit 5 to 7 home runs for the rest of the year and drive in however many, like if he can get basically to the numbers that he had last year before he got hurt, that's going to be huge for them for the rest of the season, because he hasn't been productive at all in recent memory.
I agree completely. And keep the defense going. We played a really good defensive series, I think, against the Yankees, other than that one play in game 2 where it kind of cost us the game. But we played, I mean, that was one of our issues in Baltimore earlier in the season, and against the Braves in Atlanta. Our defense was atrocious. Like, I've never seen the Rays defense, I don't think, that bad. Really, looked like
we looked like the Orioles last season.
Yeah, I mean, we looked like a double-A a bunch of players like in that Orioles series. But our defense still needs to improve a little bit, but we're playing really well defensively. Just keep bullpen healthy, get them back, and go in games.
Meadows needs to hit. Meadows needs to get back on his high horse.
Don't let the bats go cold.
Yeah, Meadows. Who knew the righty hitters would be good right now?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I mean, things are going well. Obviously, we're in a great mood because of what happened last night. It was a great way to end the series. Great way to make a statement by not. And I said this on the subreddit, and I think I said it to you guys. Like, there was no make a statement with your bat, not by throwing at someone, and that's exactly what they did. And they chased Jordan Montgomery 2 outs into the game. It was, you know, they didn't score. Like, they made the statement that they needed to make to say that, you know, hey, Yankees, we're not a team to mess around with.
Yeah.
Like don't just throw at us. You know, if intentional or non-intentional, we're here to play, and we're going to be competitive as much as you guys are going to be competitive, and you've dished out the money. We're going to be as competitive as you guys.
Exactly.
And we didn't hit anybody. I don't even think we came close to hitting anybody. But and the Yankees hit Renfroe. I think it was Ben Heller.
Oh, that was I felt bad for him.
I did too. I don't think that was.
I didn't think he should have gotten thrown out. Yeah.
No, that
was a very inside pitch. I mean, that hit him square on, like that hit him center on the thigh. But I mean, he showed some remorse. Like he
was like, ah, shit. I could tell it was accidental.
Yeah, you could tell that it was not purposeful. Like, I mean, yeah, one of the only times I think I'll ever agree with the Yes broadcasters, they were like, yeah, sometimes the ball just like, that's the danger about putting like a warning in before the game, is that sometimes the ball just slips and then you get ejected for it because of the warning.
Yeah. But that was just really unfortunate circumstance.
And Renfroe probably barely even felt it too. He's so big. So
that is true. I mean, what happened. I think, and both teams knew about it. So I really do feel bad for Heller, because I don't think he meant any. I mean, it's not like, if you're gonna throw at someone, don't throw at the guy who's batting 170.
Yeah,
it's just like I think that obviously there was no intent, because if there was intent, you're gonna throw at the best hitter on the team and not Renfroe, who's not having as productive of a year as we want to, and it's clearly showing. But I mean, it is what it is. He'll be back. Luckily, they didn't have to go to Chapman, because he did appeal his suspension yesterday. So I was really pissed off about that. But I was like, well, they didn't have to use him anyway, so it's not like it mattered.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this week. We got not for this week, but for this episode, we got anything else to talk about? Oh, I forgot to say, our thoughts go to the New York Mets organization after the passing of Tom Seaver, which was devastating. I know that he was suffering from like Alzheimer's and/or dementia for the last 2 years, and he hadn't made a public appearance since 2018, which is terrible. But obviously one of the greatest pitchers in his time, helped the Mets win the 1969 World Series, 300-game winner, I think he's like 6th all-time in strikeouts, 3-time Cy Young winner. He was Tom Terrific, the actual Tom Terrific, because Tom Brady stole that for no reason.
Absolute legend.
Yeah, but
rest in peace.
Our condolences go out to all Mets fans and the Mets organization, and rest in peace, Tom. You're a great pitcher, fantastic pitcher, one of the best pitchers in baseball history. So I think on that note, getting a little bit depressing, but we're gonna bring it back up. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We're gonna keep growing this. Thanks to everyone who listened to the first episode. I know we kind of did this on a whim, thinking that how is this gonna work. But we've gotten a really good response so far in terms of listens. So thank you guys for continuing to tune in. Hopefully we'll continue to do this more. I know we have a Twitter account that's up, and we're gonna start posting on that. Hopefully, Evan, what's the Twitter account name?
It's called @RoofRaise.
Okay, @RoofRaise.
Yeah.
So listen to us listen to us obviously on here. I think we're on Spotify right now. Follow us on Twitter. @RoofRaise. You can follow all of our social media accounts, which I'll put in the description of this episode. Everyone stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully we'll raise the roof soon. Raise up.
Raised up, baby.
Raise up.